Hello. Today I'd like to talk about making choices in life and accepting the consequences of the choices that I've already made and I will make. That's not easy. But before I begin, I want to thank one of the viewers who recommended I listen to a song. They commented last night and said, "Hey Doobie, I highly recommend you check out a song called Lateralis by Tool." And I said, okay, I'll do that in the morning before I make a video. So I just listened to Lateralis by Tool just now before I turned on the camera. What a cool song! This is so cool. I've heard Tool before. I've heard some of their other songs like Sober, and there's some with like numbers. Like I can't remember the name of that one. But well, Lateralis is pretty darn cool. Thanks, whoever recommended that. I like the um, guitars with all that distortion, and the singer Keynes, I can't remember his name. He's amazing, and I like how his vocals just kind of fit in with the guitars and the bass, and the drums are, oh my gosh, the drums are amazing. So thanks. I enjoyed that a lot. Tool has a really cool sound. I like the sound of Tool. I miss the sound of bands like that from like the 90s, 2000s. I liked Rage Against the Machine a lot. Really like their sound. I like Nirvana. Although Nirvana was a little bit depressing. I really like Soundgarden's sound. In fact, both those bands are from Washington. Soundgarden. Also kind of depressing, but cool sounds. The guitars are amazing. Of course, Radiohead's pretty cool too. Also kind of depressing, but yeah, I really enjoyed that sound. That sound of the song Lateralis. So today, today, I already made a video, but I decided not to publish it because the video that I made earlier today, I had chose to make that video from a place of fear. And after I made the video, I realized that creating something and choosing to go down a path from a place of fear usually makes that thing that you're fearful of more likely to happen. Well, that's really weird. Why would that happen, Doobie? If you're afraid of something, won't you do something to prevent it? Well, it's like anxiety. I think the energy that goes into pushing something away actually makes it more likely to happen. It makes it more likely to become your reality. Whoa. People talk about manifesting. Now, I don't know if I agree with that much about manifesting. But in a way, it makes sense. But in this way, to me. So I'm going to share what makes sense to me about choices in life. I think it's very hard to accept responsibility for the consequences of our own choices. I like to be responsible for the choices that ended up with good things in my life, good things that happen to me. And I also like to not take responsibility for the bad things that happened in my life. The bad things that happen to me, they're not my fault. They're someone else's fault or something uncontrollable. The universe's fault. Just no one could help it. Now, there may be things that happen to me that were choices from my ancestors, our collective ancestors. But there's a lot of things that I choose in my life that affect me directly, and yeah, they are my choices, and I'm responsible for my choices, both the good effects and the bad effects. Hey, Doobie. I love you, girl. Doobie just came and snuggled up next to my leg. This is actually very hard to do. In fact, if you start to realize, oh, I'm actually responsible for my life, it can be terrifying, because both the good and bad things that happen to you are your responsibility. Most people don't want to do that. Most people want to just take responsibility for good things that happen to them and blame all the bad things on other people. It's not my fault that all this crap happened to me. It's that person's fault, or that person's fault, or the universe, or the government, or my ancestors, or spaghetti monster. Yeah. So, I've been trying to take responsibility. I used to, and it comes in very subtle ways too, like thinking about the future. So when we make choices, we think about the future, and we think, well, I used to think, what am I supposed to do? That's a terrible question to ask, because you can decide what you want to do, and you have choices. To say, what am I supposed to do, implies that there is one choice that's the right choice, and someone else makes that choice for you. So if you say, what am I supposed to do? Well, and you do it and something bad happens, well, you somehow deflect the blame from yourself, because you're supposed to do it. So it's like destiny's fault that something bad happened, because you were supposed to do it. So I think that question, what am I supposed to do with my life, is actually a really bad question. And I've asked that many, many times. And it wasn't until recently that I realized how bad of a question that is. The better question is, what do I want to do? What are the good things and the bad things that I want to bring into my life? So, whoa, Doobie, why would you want to bring bad things into your life? Well, everything has good and bad. It's impossible to have just good. So, I need to be thinking about what are the good things and the bad things that I want to bring in my life. And it's not one or the other. It's kind of a mix. You can have a mix of a little bit more good than bad, or a little bit more bad than good. But everything has good and bad in it. So when I made the video this morning from a place of fear, I made the video and I thought about it more, and yeah, I think that choice, had I gone to publish it, would have resulted in what I was fearing coming to be more likely to come to pass. So I didn't publish it. Now, it was very therapeutic for me to talk to the camera and think through my thoughts and express myself as if I was talking to somebody. Uh, so that was actually very helpful to talk about that. But I'm not going to talk about that here. I'm talking about here making choices and accepting the responsibility for the good and bad things that come with it. And that's how I'm trying to live life now. I really feel like there was a big shift in my life over this last 4 months. I figured out a lot of stuff, and I've been documenting a lot of this journey in this YouTube channel about like dealing with guilt and shame and fear and anxiety and good things too, and like love and connection and peace and empathy and finding the right amount of empathy and the pitfalls of empathy and how it could be taken advantage of and trying to understand evil and how evil happens and how people can hurt each other and hide from their guilt. And I've been talking about all these things for like 7 months. Well, in addition to like taking care of your body, helping your body heal, I've been talking about all those things, and I really feel like I figured out a lot of things, and I documented it here so you can see it too. And I'm grateful for that. I feel like a big shift has happened, and I've gotten to the place where I feel that I'm in control of the ship. This is me going through the universe. I am the captain now. There's a movie, I think it's called Captain Phillips or something, where a pirate gets on the ship and says, I am the captain now. Well, I am the captain now of my own ship. And I'm plotting my course. And I don't want to make choices from a place of fear anymore. I want to make choices from a place of love. Love for myself and the universe. For you, for my dog, for my wife. I want to make choices from a place of love because I think that will protect the things that the people and the beings and the things that I love. I think that will bring more love into my life. If I make choices from a place of fear, I think that will bring more fear into my life. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about today. I feel like the videos that I'm going to be making are going to be slightly different now, because a lot of the videos I had been making were very long videos about me essentially working through all these issues, spiritual, psychological, and scientific, and maybe woo-woo things too, with consciousness. I've been going through all those things, but I think I figured out a good amount of stuff. Of course, I haven't figured out everything there is to know about the universe because that's impossible. Well, maybe it's possible, but I think that the moment I figure everything out, I will have died. So I'm grateful that there's still more to learn. That makes life interesting. But I did figure out a lot of things, and I don't think my YouTube videos are gonna go along the same course that I had been going on. But that's okay. I am more interested in making choices out of love for myself and the universe. And I think from here on out, that also means that means a number of things, but one of them is making shorter videos like this one, and making, well, hiking videos, especially with my my doggy friend Doobie. She is so passed out right now. Here, I'll show you. Well, I have to, let's see here. How do I do this? Here. She likes to get her tummy rubbed. So she lifts up her leg like this. She wants me to pet her tummy. Hello. Hello. You have mutton chops here. Okay, I'll quit bothering you. Yeah, making hiking videos. I've been making some music, and I am, well, I've been writing some. Now, it's been kind of off to a little bit of a rough start because I haven't written fiction in a long time. I wrote a novel a long time ago, before the pandemic. And I never got it published. I tried to, but it never got published. And I realized you can self-publish, but at that time I didn't want to self-publish. But yeah, I'm writing again and getting ideas about stories I want to write. Now I like writing. I like watching movies that are horror movies or thrillers or psychological things that are kind of scary. And I kind of want to write a book about that's like a horror story. Kind of like I really like Stephen King stories a lot. I think his stories are really fun and insightful. But I was wondering if if I write a story about something scary, would that make my life have more scary things in it? But it's a fiction story. If I choose to write a scary story, but I choose to write it from a place of love, even though I'm writing a scary story, will I bring more, oh, it's beautiful. I just saw a bald eagle fly overhead. The creature is so big. Oh, there's another one. Trying to see if they got fish in their claws. No fish. They're huge. They're like probably this big. Wingspan. They're probably like this tall. Actually, the cameraman didn't even show it. But they're really big. I just saw two of them fly by. If I write a horror story, would I bring horror into my life? But if I chose to write that story from a place of love, would that actually bring love into my life despite writing a horror story? I don't know. I like writing. Why, Doobie, why do you want to write a horror story? Well, I think that there are things in life that trouble me. Like, why do people hurt each other repeatedly over and over and hurt themselves? And then they can't even see it. That's evil. That's evil. I find it perplexing. I find it a mystery. I find it horrifying. And I think writing stories about that will help me process living a life like this where I live in this time where people hurt each other. They're so mean and hurtful and, well, really awful just to each other and to themselves. It's almost like living in a zombie movie. Like, I feel like I live in a zombie movie, but not like a, but people are aware. It's almost like a mass possession. Like, people, like, so many people are like possessed by this like spirit that wants to like hurt and lie and kill and take pleasure in the in the suffering of other people. It's like, why would we want to live in that kind of world? But we do. So I feel like writing a story, a horror story about a mass possession, like what I see, that I feel like I'm living in. But writing it from a standpoint of somebody who is not possessed and trying to make sense of it and find love and hope and joy despite living through that. That's the kind of story I would like to hear. That's the kind of story I would like to tell. That's the kind of story I want to write. But would that bring more horror into my life? I don't know. What do you think? I guess I'm asking you, too. What do you think? Well, I think that this kind of marks a boundary. Not a boundary, but a marker or a milestone in this channel. And that I feel like the videos that came before of me talking a lot what were me trying to figure out some really important things about the way I think, the way I decide, the way I can choose to live, the way I have chosen to live, and the consequences of that. And I think I have a much better understanding now, thanks to a number of things. I'm very grateful to the universe for that. And now, from here on out, it's more making those choices from a place of love to live with love, peace, hope, and joy, to take care of myself, my loved ones, and the other beings that exist in this consciousness as best I can. To accept both the good things and the bad things of consequences of my choices that I've already made and the choices that I will make and I am making right now going forward. And to have the bravery and courage to make those choices, because it can be scary to make choices when you know that you're responsible for your own life and you don't blame other people for it. You only have yourself to blame. It can be scary. It takes courage. It takes bravery. Fearlessness is not, I don't think, very helpful, because you need fear in order to avoid harmful things. And too much fear paralyzes. But I think having courage or bravery means that you are afraid, but you use that fear to help you make good choices. And you live despite the fear. In fact, the fear helps you make those choices. But it requires, just bravery. That's where I am now. And that's where this channel is now. I'm kind of curious to see where this channel goes from here. Yeah. Well, I hope you have a good day. I hope that you find the courage to make the choices that you want to, and accept the responsibility, both the good and bad outcomes that come with the choices you make. And that I hope that we can all love each other, take care of each other, and quit hurting each other and ourselves. I really hope that. Yeah, I'm putting this energy out into the universe because There's a lot of hurtful energy going around. A lot. So this is my energy of love going out into the universe. I love you and I hope you love yourself. I love myself. It took me a long time to learn how to do that. Bye.